In the immortal words of Boston's own Aerosmith, it was the same old song and dance for your New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium on Sunday afternoon. The Pats fall 20-17 to the Commanders. We got all the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Stay tuned. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage and hopefully your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots is available on all platforms, including YouTube. So download, subscribe to, follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your podcasts to ensure that you get the latest episode as soon as it's available. I'm your host, Mike Debate, and I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. So reach out to me and let me know what's on your mind on X at MDABATENFL. And while you're out there showing some social media love to Locked On Patriots, please follow our account there as well at LO_Patriots. Pats fans, today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And unfortunately, Patriots fans, your New England Patriots continue their 2023 downward spiral with a 20-17 loss to the Washington Commanders at Gillette Stadium on Sunday. The Pats fall to 2-7 on the season. And here today to help me break it all down is the man who Mondays were created for here on Locked On Patriots. My good friend, the legendary Conor Murphy Fisto himself, Thomas Murphy of E2Gsports.com. Thank you for coming to me today in friendship on this Monster Mad Monday, Don Murph.
I'm not happy. Do I look happy? No, not happy. This is four one-score games that the Patriots have dropped this season, folks. Four. One score better. And we're talking about something completely different. The narrative is different, but it's not. It's 4 one-score games that the Patriots could not get over the hump on, and now it's almost time to start thinking about draft order and not, saving face or pride. For lack of a better word, get out there and play with some pride. I'm not happy, Michael. I was not happy with the, of course, the outcome of this game. I wasn't happy with the game plan that went on. I wasn't happy with the fact that, not enough keys were turned.
Folks, we're going to get into a lot of the unturned keys in just a moment because I'm right there with you on game planning, on preparation, effort level from the players, engagement level from the coaches. It just seemed like everything was absolutely taken from the sails of the New England Patriots in Foxborough yesterday. You could even feel it and hear it in the stadium itself. There is just and I hate to use this term because negative connotations it has up in this area, but there is such a deflated feel when it comes to the New England Patriots this season. And it permeates everything they do, whether it be the players on the field, whether it be the fans in the stands, or whether it be people on social media just trying to find some way to be engaged with this team, and they just can't seem to do it. Patriots are 2-7 for the first time, folks, since Bill Belichick's first season as head coach of the New England Patriots in 2000. The Patriots are 1-4 at home at Gillette Stadium, not something that they're accustomed to being. They're 0-5 in non-division games. They're the only NFL team without a win outside their own division.
Right.
These are things that are not customary for the New England Patriots. They're supposed to take care of the teams they're supposed to beat. Folks, I'm sorry. I mean no disrespect to the Washington Commanders when I say this. The Patriots were supposed to beat that team yesterday. I don't care what anyone says. This is a team that is in full sale mode, sold off their top 2 assets to build for 2024, and they came in and they played with more heart, more fire, and they won yesterday against a team that really could have started to salvage this season if they wanted to with a little bit of a soft underbelly coming up on the schedule. Murph, I agree with you. I mean, we have up here on the placard what went wrong. I ask you, my friend, why were those keys that you cut each and every week that really do, I think, lead the path to victory, why did they remain unturned, bud?
I honestly don't know. Bill O'Brien completely. The first key that I cut this week was to run the ball. And I was scared to death that with the trades that Washington made last week, eliminating their pass rush, for lack of a better word, Mac Jones was not sacked yesterday. Okay,
it's a good point.
I'm not sure the pressure rates or whatnot. Mac Jones was not sacked yesterday, but I wanted this team to establish the run and establish it early. And once again, they did not do that. This sets up everything, especially where Mac makes his hay across the middle. All right, Mac does not make hay throwing balls to the left hash mark. Okay, I never want to see Mac Jones throw a ball to the left hand side of the football field again. Just eliminate it. Yeah. It was god awful. It was what I feared O'Brien was going to do, was let Mac drop back and sling it and try to prove a point. And that's not what football is about. You don't play football you play football up here. Okay. And that's not what the Patriots did yesterday with their game plan.
I think the Patriots came into this game yesterday, Murph, feeling that with the loss of Montez Sweat and with the loss of Chase Young, this team was vulnerable with the pass rush. They weren't going to be able to generate that same type of electricity getting after the quarterback. It looked like the New England Patriots entered this game counting on that and that alone. This is still a team that's surrendering over 117 yards per game on the ground coming into this game. I haven't seen the adjusted numbers yet, folks. Coming into this game, they're 21st in the league. That is an area where the New England Patriots could have exploited and could have made this game a little bit easier and thrived, like Murph said. Murph, I completely agree with you. That is a key that absolutely had to be turned. And you saw the benefits of getting the running game going when you have a pass to set it up, or vice versa. Perfect example is the Rhamondre Stevenson 64-yard touchdown run. That was set up by a very nice connection between Mac and JuJu Smith-Schuster. 20 yards, diving catch, everything looked like it was going well. And all of a sudden, out of the RPO comes Rhamondre Stevenson, and he takes it to the house for 64 yards and breaks it. I understand, folks, that that's an anomaly, and those types of moments don't happen every play. But that is where you need to be mindful if you're a New England Patriots coach on the offensive side of the ball. You need to be utilizing that run because it opens up play action. It allows guys to be able to hit their targets, and it gives Mac more time. He had the time yesterday. He was not under pressure or duress the way he normally is. You're right, save for the roughing the passer call. That was nullified. That was, I guess, you can make the argument that was a sack. Some may make the argument that the correct call was made. But bottom line, that was nullified. There was no sacks registered on the official stat sheet yesterday. So you have to give credit where credit is due to the offensive line, especially with Connor McDermott coming in place of an injured Trent Brown. This team could have been very vulnerable to be able to open up a lot. The Patriots looked like they had a plan to stop the pass rush or at least be able to contain it, but they had no answer to be able to get the running game going. I think that was an egregious part of what this team does, and it's difficult. It's really difficult to even think about that.
Yeah, you can just take a look at time of possession yesterday. All right, the Patriots have to control time of possession, and it was 37 minutes, more than 37 minutes that the Commanders, the Washington Commanders, held this ball. And the Patriots just had 22 minutes of possession on the offensive side, and it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And this is the one place that they could have definitely exploited Washington and even that number up. Because if even at an even 50-50 split, I think the Patriots end up winning this game. And we haven't even talked about third down yet.
Locked On listeners, these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. And that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster. And here's the best part, folks, for free. You will not believe how easy it is to create a free job post on LinkedIn Jobs until you try it. Just make sure to add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL, LOCKEDON NFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Yeah, absolutely. And that was my next question for you, because that's one thing that I said here on Thursday when I spoke with David Harrison, host of Locked On Commanders, and we each gave our essential to victory. What has to happen in order for a team to be victorious? And I made my point very clear about the New England Patriots. They have to win the battles on third down. They were 1 for 9 the week before. Again, the New England Patriots just not getting the job done in the clutch when the moment counts. Murph, this to me, I think, is a full team effort. Mac Jones is not getting the job done to get the ball across. Receivers obviously are not doing the job that they need to do of either getting open or putting themselves in position to get the ball. It's just a mess on offense right now. I know we're hopping on offense, folks, but it was that bad, and it continues to be that bad for the New England Patriots.
I'll flip it over to the other side. What were the Commanders? Like 9 of 17 on third down? 9 of 17. One of those was a 3rd and 23. Okay? Junior was going back there and throwing up lob passes, and there was nobody there to get it. I tweeted yesterday that the difference in this game right now is the fact that he has wide receivers that will go and get the ball and flipping it back over. The Patriots don't. Okay? They just don't. They don't have guys that fight for the ball. I mean, granted, you can come down and say that oh God, why am I at a complete loss right now? That Jalen Reagor made a good defensive play when Mac Jones turned him into a DB down there on a long throw that was underthrown to the left-hand side of the field. But other than that, he doesn't have the guys that are fighting for the ball. And this is no knock on Demario Douglas, who had a very good game yesterday again. All right. But other than that, Tyquan Thornton, he's not fighting for balls. JuJu Smith-Schuster did not fight for that last ball. He did not pull in that last third down pass that Mac threw to him that I thought was kind of an ill-advised throw, considering how many people were around him and his history here this season. But on second watch, that was a ball that he should have had. That was a ball that Mac threw in there, and we get on Mac an awful lot for not throwing the ball hard enough, not having the arm. He zipped that ball in there. Junior just couldn't handle it.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because the initial reaction to that, I think, was so visceral from Patriots fans. Why is he throwing that? Apparently, the Fox broadcast had a little bit of a problem with Mac Jones throwing the ball. But when you look at what he did, you're down 3 points, less than 30 seconds to go. It's not a situation where you can run the ball or try a screen or a flea flicker or something that's going to be trickery here. You have to advance the ball and attempt to get the first down. That would have done it, folks. You get that, all of a sudden it sets you up for field goal range, and at the worst, you're looking at the potential to be able to tie it, maybe even take a shot at the end zone. Because unfortunately, the New England Patriots just weren't able to get the job done. The ball went through JuJu's hands. Give him a lot of credit for taking the lion's share of the credit. He stood at his locker yesterday, basically said, look, that was a catchable ball. It's on me. And, we move forward, very unlike what we saw about 2 or 3 weeks ago when Mac had a similar situation with Devontae Parker. This continues to be a familiar yet fatally flawed formula that the New England Patriots are putting out, and it's leading to losses, and those losses keep piling up.
And lastly is, we're still talking about what went wrong. The Patriots had 4 special teams penalties yesterday.
Mm,
4.
thank you.
What the ever-loving hell is going on here that they put up 4 special teams penalties? And this is something that Bill Belichick has talked about for so long and has been a hat hanger on him, is winning and excelling in all 3 phases of the game. And special teams has just been a mess. It's just been awful
Yeah, it
all
really
year
has.
long.
Yeah, it really has. You're talking about the
With
face
the
mask.
exception of the kickers, with the
Yeah.
exception of the drafted kickers, the kids are
Yeah,
doing their job.
they are
Those
doing
kids
their
are all
job.
right. It's everybody else
Absolutely.
that Bill keeps paying to bring back here, whether it's a missed long snap or a face mask penalty or wherever all season long. You can point to this unit being a weakness in New England, and that is something that has never happened before.
Yeah.
Well, no, I
With,
can't say that because they were a mess last year too.
no, I was just going to say, last
Yeah.
year, dead last in
Yep.
DVOA, defense adjusted value over average, folks. This year, 29th.
Yep.
So you're not talking about an exponential growth like we were supposed to see with the additions of Chris Board, with the return of Cody Davis, with the return of Joe Judge into that lineup and coaching and
Right.
being there with Cameron Ashford and being able to provide this team with that veteran savvy, that veteran leadership that they've been lacking. They continue to be fundamentally unsound. And it's something that is so unlike your New England Patriots, folks. Brendan Schooler, the face mask, the holding penalties. Now, I understand with the holding. I know Brendan was upset with that call. He was obviously, heated. You could see that on the sidelines. The Mack Wilson call, I still think is pretty egregious. I did not agree with that. I still don't see where he was offsides.
No.
Bill Belichick actually was asked about that on Monday morning, said a little more than he usually does about the officials. Generally, Bill deflects those questions on that.
You can't even be in a position to allow that call to be made.
Thank you. That's the point. Yeah, that's exactly the point that needs to be made here. The fact that in between those holding and face mask calls of Brendan Schooler, that Mack Wilson call with 2:41 remaining in the fourth quarter on 4th and 2, it brought the Washington offense back on the field. You cannot do that when you need every tick of the clock and every available snap to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to win that game. You're down 3. It's a 1-score game to take a 4-point lead, and all of a sudden, we're having a completely different narrative here on Melancholy Monday, on Monster Mad Monday. All of a sudden, it becomes a Victory Monday. That's how intricate some of these moves and some of these, breaks that are not breaking the Patriots' way are going. But bottom line, they're not putting themselves in position to take advantage of the breaks, and when they're available, the Patriots are just not taking them at all. So your New England Patriots are circling the drain right now, and it's been a long time.
Just while we're here, before we move off of what went wrong in the game planning, and where the hell was Pharaoh Brown yesterday? I can't believe I'm asking this question. Okay, he's been one of your most. It goes back to game planning and letting Max sling it, and him not being on the field as much. But still, this man did not see a single target yesterday. I'm not sure how many snaps he was on the field for. And he has been one of your most consistent pass catchers, move the chain guys for the past 3 or 4 weeks. And granted, he's somebody in off the streets. What are you trying to do, Bill? Are you trying to prove a point with Mike Gesicki? Is that what you're doing? He caught a touchdown pass, and now we've got to get him in the game all the time? No, Pharaoh Brown is the better ball player. He fits this system. Get him in the game.
Pharaoh Brown, 7 offensive snaps yesterday, folks. 12 on special teams. A very limited level of work for Pharaoh Brown. Mike Gesicki, as opposed to 55. Bill Belichick referred to him last night and again this morning as, quote unquote, the 5th receiver on this team. So maybe that was the reason for the look. But bottom line, I know Pharaoh is someone that has made things happen, especially in chunk play situations. You got to give him more looks. Now, the only way I give that a pass, Murph, is he was on the injured list throughout the week. He did miss, practice. He was, limited in his practices. He had a back injury. So if that's the case, then I do kind of give that a pass. But if he's healthy enough to go, you got to give him more than 7
if you're healthy
looks.
enough to suit up, and that's been the mantra here for 25 years. If you are healthy enough to suit up, then you're healthy enough to be out there for every single play. Otherwise, you shouldn't be suited up.
Yeah. Without question. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
Look at
folks,
that,
once
Burrow.
again,
Look at
yeah,
that. Look at
Pat, you're giving Murph wrinkles. This is not
Mhm.
good here. This is not good. It really is. It's dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, and all kidding aside, it really is last place in the AFC at 2-7. No light at the end of the tunnel is
No.
visible anytime soon, Murph. It's a long, dark, and winding road. And the Patriots have an overseas international trip coming up. Murph, we're going to
Yep.
be discussing that later this week, but we're going to keep our focus on the Commanders game yesterday, Murph, because even though we've talked about all the doom and gloom, and there has been a lot of doom and gloom, there were some bright spots on the field yesterday. We're going to talk about the limited bright spots for the Patriots, and we're also going to answer, I think, the most common mailbag question that we've been getting now for the last 2 weeks. And folks, we put our own individual twist on it. Are Mac Jones and Bill Belichick still wartime consiglieres? We're going to answer those questions and more when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On listeners, score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. And folks, there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over, under, and so much more. And with your New England Patriots headed to Frankfurt, Germany for an international matchup with the Indianapolis Colts, you're definitely going to want to make this week a whole lot more fun and maybe even a bit more interesting with our good friends over at FanDuel. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season in style. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots and for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. And of course, folks, it is hashtag Monster Mad Monday. It is hashtag Mailbag Monday. And we did dip into the mailbag, and we're taking your most popular question of the week in just a moment. But it's Locked On Murph Monday, folks. That's what makes it all worthwhile. The losses, the melancholy attitudes, the angst, all of that, all made better by my guest today, the legendary Conor Murphy Fisto himself, Thomas Murphy. Murph, we talked about all of the bad, and there was a lot of bad on the field yesterday for the New England Patriots, but there were some silver linings to take from the field in Foxborough yesterday. It was maybe one of their most disappointing losses, but it wasn't their most devastating loss. We've seen a couple of those this year where the Patriots looked absolutely futile from start to finish and just couldn't do anything right. There were a couple of bright spots yesterday. When you looked at this game, was there anything that you took away saying, you know what, Patriots had a terrible game, but this guy looked pretty good?
Juwan Bentley, 10 solo tackles, 13 altogether, 2 sacks. Godchow had a good game, 9 tackles. Dietrich Wise, it was a wise decision there too. And Kyle Duggar. Everything that I'm saying here is on the defensive side of the ball. I understand that. And I mean, you could go in with Pop Douglas, who had a nice game, had 5 catches on 7 targets. Even Schuster, he caught 6 balls out of 7. And of course the rushing game, Rhamondre, 9 carries for 87 yards, but you've got to kind of mitigate that with the 64-yard run, which was beautiful. It was just beautiful. Rhamondre looked fantastic. And so that's where I'm hanging my hat this week, is on the defensive side of the ball. Whether you like it or not, whether they lost or not, they held this team to 20 points, and they gave this anemic offense several different chances to win this ball game. They kept them in it after going down 10-0, and granted, Washington did score another 10 points in the third quarter, but they held them scoreless in the fourth, and put Mac in position to get his second come from behind win, and he couldn't do it.
I'll give you another one, and I'll raise you Jelani Tavai, who I think could have
thank you.
had
Yeah.
the play of the game, folks. I still think it was the top defensive play of the game, and I mean that with all respect to Kyle Duggar, who I thought his interception was great. That was a little more on Sam Howell. I don't know where Sam was throwing that ball. Sam would be the first to admit it. He said it after the game. That was the worst throw he's made as a pro, and I'll take his word on that. I haven't seen Sam's throwing history extensively because the Patriots just don't play the Commanders all that often, but that was his first forced fumble, meaning Jelani Tavai, as a New England Patriot. He did come in with 3 coming from the Detroit Lions, but jars the ball loose. Did it against Brian Robinson, which is big. That's their, that's their guy to control and secure the football. Devin Godchow heads up move, falls on it at the Washington 25-yard line. That helps set up the Patriots' first scoring drive. Mac needed 3 plays to get the Patriots into the end zone, including a 14-yard pass from Mac Jones to Hunter Henry, which I thought was a great pass, a great catch by Hunter. And that really, I think, gave the Patriots some life. It gave them their spark. It actually buoyed them to getting the Rhamondre Stevenson touchdown drive just a couple of drives later. So it really did set up a lot for the Patriots. Save for a couple of bad moves here and there, that could have ended up being the play that we're all talking about today, saying that turned the tide. Did that really give the Patriots hope that they can maybe rattle off a couple of victories in a row and salvage what has been a poor season? Now all of a sudden we're talking about it as a silver lining, and it's almost like a what if, situation.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I thought Jelani had a good game yesterday, 6 total tackles on the day. And again, just that linebacker in the middle part of that defense that just does it all. Whenever you need to dial his number up, he just seems to be there in the right place at the right time. So want to give a little love to him. It's been a tough year, especially with, his native Hawaii and the wildfires that were down there and a lot of the struggles that he's had, keeping things, professionally and personally on an even keel.
And the grief the grief that Bill took for bringing him back.
Yeah,
a lot of people didn't want him brought back. A lot of people questioned his contract.
That's a guy that Bill looked at and said he could be a very good fit here in New England, and he has been. And he's been everything as advertised.
And the thing is, he's supposed to be here as depth. He's not supposed to be here as a playmaker, as somebody who this is a depth guy that's going out there and getting it done on a on a basis where he's playing a lot more than anybody thought that he would be or should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So well
Except
said.
Maybe Bill.
Well, Murph, I think that leads us quite nicely into our final question for today. And folks, yes, it is hashtag Mailbag Monday. So we are diving into the mailbag. And overwhelmingly throughout the past couple of weeks, the main question has been, is Mac still the guy? Is Bill Belichick still the guy? Are there jobs on the hot seat? Do the Patriots need to clear house and eliminate both of them? A lot of that is speculative fodder that really works well for the masses. Social media makes for good arguments and back and forth. It definitely makes for great topics on terrestrial radio. It makes for great topics here on podcasts just like this one. But bottom line, Murph, the New England Patriots have serious problems to solve. They need serious people to solve them. Until this point, very few, if any, would argue that Bill Belichick was well suited to take whatever was thrown his way. He was the guy that could fix it. It may take him a while. He may make some mistakes along the way, but most people believe that Bill Belichick was absolutely the right guy to spearhead what now needs to be a complete rebuild. So I ask you, as Michael Corleone would say to Tom Hagen, are Mac Jones and Bill Belichick still this team's wartime consigliere?
That's a fantastic question, and it was given to me in a fantastic way, and my view is still yes. Okay, because it comes down to the capos. It comes down to the capo regimes. I think there needs to be a house cleaning in the coaching staff. We need a new wide receivers coach. I believe we need a new offensive line coach, and quite frankly, some soldiers would be nice. I never thought that in my entire life that I would be jealous of a quarterback that had Johan Dotson to throw to. All right, but I am. We need a Terry McLaurin on this team. Those are the guys that are out there the button men that are on the street, and that's what the Patriots need, is a few more button men and a few and a few capos that are a little more street savvy than the ones that are here now. We definitely
very
need
well
new
said.
special teams coaches.
Very well said.
Done.
And folks, Murph and I, the affinity that we have for the Godfather, and anyone who's seen the original Godfather knows that, we're pulling from Michael Corleone's decision to move to Nevada. Not very popular among his soldiers. They didn't like it at the time, but the Don trusted him. Michael knew what his plan was all along. It was whether or not people were willing to go that extra mile.
Carlos gotta go.
Absolutely. And Michael knew that Tom Hagen was not the type of consigliere he needed to make that type of move. So that's the decision that Don Robert Kraft needs to make right now. Is Bill Belichick his wartime consigliere? Is he the guy that's going to be capable of helping and facilitating that move? Because if you're thinking long-term future here for the New England Patriots, folks, there is no one that holds Bill Belichick in a higher regard than Murph and myself here. We've watched him for 20 years build an empire here in New England. Anyone telling you different is pushing a narrative, or they're just not willing to see the forest from the trees. This guy is a legend, a Hall of Famer, and deserves all of the accolades he's gotten until this point. But he's not part of the long-term solution here in New England. So if you're talking long-term and you're talking a bridge to that next level, is Bill Belichick still the guy, or is it the right time to tell Bill you're no longer a wartime consigliere? Things might get rough with the move
right now. Everybody that is out there screaming, and I mean screaming, for Mike Vrabel to come in here and fix he's not doing it. It's not. Mike Vrabel, I'm sorry. Mike Vrabel has had everything that you people are screaming Bill Belichick needs to have. He's played in the AFC South his entire coaching career, and he hasn't gotten it done. He's had all those weapons. He's what? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, Mike Vrabel sitting in Robert Kraft's box a couple of weeks ago, and all of the camaraderie that was felt during his induction ceremony weekend, it almost kind of made like a very nice little narrative that you knew the public was just going to sink its teeth into. Always look at these matters with an objective point of view. Remember where this information is coming from, and then determine as to whether or not there's any validity behind it. Bottom line, I'm not saying that Bill Belichick does not deserve to be on the hot seat. He absolutely does. At 2-7, any coach would be. But when you start talking about potential successors and saying, oh, yeah, the Krafts have automatically picked out the guy they want, again, folks, take a step back and just understand where some of these reports are coming from, and I think you'll see them in a different light. But it is very difficult to believe that the Krafts would allow something like that to come out, especially with the reverence that I know for a fact that they still hold Bill Belichick with. Whether there is a rift or a fissure in that relationship, that's still to be seen, but there is still an awful lot of mutual respect between both sides. I don't think they'd let it get like this quickly. So
just to circle back, at four games, one score. Okay. And I've said it a million times. Look at the attrition that this team has gone through in the past 5 years. Okay. You've arguably lost three Hall of Famers, 3 Pro Football Hall of Famers. Okay. And Brady and Gronkowski, and whether you believe it or not, Stephon Gilmore, and 6 Patriots Hall of Famers. Those 3. Then you want to add in Hightower. You want to add in Edelman, and you can add in Devin McCourty. Okay,
absolutely.
That's the attrition. Not even counting the coaching. Okay, which 70% of has gone out the window over that 5-year period, when there was always somebody there that had worked their way up to step right in, and that hasn't happened. I'm not ready to give up on Bill Belichick. Like I said, 4 games, 1 score. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in this draft. Do not go. I'm already talking about the draft. Do not go chasing the next quarterback again with that top pick. Okay, give this kid an offensive line and give this kid some weapons to work with that he can count on. And I know that's saying a lot, to bring in rookies and do this type of thing, but I think it's there. It's there. This team just needs to play a little bit smarter. The coaching staff needs to be a little bit better, and things will turn around. This would be a really good day if there were 4 more scores in the Patriots ledger this year. Just a little less red.
Bottom line, Murph, it always is interesting to look at the future. It's always
Yep.
interesting to project what the future might look like. You know what you have. You never
Right.
know what you're going to get. The grass may look greener on the other side for right now, but again, I think Bill Belichick has earned the right to let's
Right.
see what this looks like after a full season. If this is still a complete dumpster fire and these guys are imploding like you can't imagine, then
Exactly.
the Crafts have no other alternative
Right.
but to
But
pull plug because
look
even the
look
best
around.
sometimes are ignored.
Yep. Look around the league, folks. The Rams are not what they were 3 years ago, and they're
Mhm.
not going to be anytime soon. Buffalo is regressing year after
Mhm.
year. Go look at Miami, which everybody's throwing up for their amazing, innovative offense. They haven't that kid hasn't beaten a 500 team.
Mhm.
Okay,
True.
they're winning the games they're definitely supposed to, but he's not winning the games that he's not. So the key for the Patriots is just playing when they're at 500.
Mhm.
They win.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's very difficult to get to the top. It's also but it's even more difficult to stay there. Let let the let's get the roof on the building before we tear it down.
Very
Okay.
well said.
There might
And
be some new plumbers needed, to
mhm.
finish things off, some finished carpenters to come in, but the groundwork's there.
Yeah.
Okay, just hire me to run the draft.
That's it. Murph for director of player personnel in Foxborough. I'll tell you, I can get
That's
behind
it.
that. I know you all can as
There you
well.
go.
Folks, thank you so much for dropping us all of those lines over the course of the last week or so, asking questions about Bill Belichick, Mac Jones. Again, folks, our opinion, it does not make it right. It does not make it
No.
gospel. We want to hear what you have to say as well, because believe me, there is just as valid of an argument to move on. And we love to hear your feedback. As long as it's respectful, folks, it definitely
Yeah.
falls on positive ears. And we love interacting with you. So please continue to do so. All of you everydayers out there that take time out of your busy schedule, not just to drop us a line, but to make Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. Nothing warms my heart more, and I know I can speak for my good friend right here on the other side of the screen. Before I let you go today, Bud, please let everyone know where they can reach out to you, where they can interact with you, and what we can look forward to coming from the great pen of Thomas Murphy in the coming week, Bud.
Well, since it's down there and the birdie is gone, you can follow me on X at TMurph207. I like to call it Zitter. Of course, you can read anything that I've got going on over at e2g.com. A lot of Red Sox stuff coming out over the next couple of weeks, and as to how I want to fix this team.
Absolutely, folks. And with Craig Breslow in the house, you know he's going to be keeping a very sharp eye on what Murph has to say. If he
Kind of
knows
butch.
anything about Red Sox baseball, you know he's going to be able to go and to do that. So definitely check out what the man is doing. I always recommend it anytime he puts voice to microphone or pen to paper. It's always optimal listening and reading content, and you won't go wrong anytime Murph's name is attached to something that you're reading or viewing. And folks, once again, I thank each and every one of you, all of you everydayers, casual listeners, and all of you first timers out there checking out Locked On Patriots. I appreciate you. I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. I remind you to join us here each and every day on the Locked On Podcast Network on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. On behalf of my good friend, Thomas Murphy, I am Mike Debate, telling you to stay safe and to stay well and to be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow on Locked On Patriots.
More Pharaoh. Walk
Let
like
it
an
be written.
Egyptian.
Let it be
Let
done.
it be done.